We're in Southern California with Kia driving the brand new Niro EV.
Can you hear that? That's the sound of the California freeway calling. Whoa.
Feel the power. So smooth, quiet.
All right, we are in the electronic version, the EV of the Niro. What's under the floor of this thing?
A 64.8 kilowatt hour battery, 407 kilometers, 253 miles of EV range. That's an increase of 22 kilometers, 14 miles from the previous model. It has 201 horsepower and 188 pound-feet of torque, front-wheel drive only.
Kia believes that 70% of all Niro sales will be the EV. So people want to know, what do you get with it? What are the key standard features?
The base trim comes with a 10.25-inch touchscreen and digital driver display, wired Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, a battery heating system, heated front seats, a manual driver and passenger seat with height adjustment, cloth upholstery, keyless entry, 17-inch wheels, and a tire repair kit. In the US, the base trim gets some extra features: a power driver's seat, leatherette and cloth upholstery, a wireless charger, and a power liftgate.
Oh, look, Andrea, our favorite, a rotary dial shifter. What are we going to put it in?
You got to put it in S for subscribe. And if you can hit that notification bell, you'll be notified when all of our reviews drop, and then you can watch them.
And we do this, the couple car review, twice a week. The first one drops on Wednesday.
We put another one out on Saturday.
So make sure you like and subscribe. But the most important thing is to hit the notification bell. Also, follow along on Instagram. It's Motormouth_Andrea to get a sneak peek behind the scenes. For me, it's Motormouth_Auto, and the links are below the like button. This video is brought to you by Canada Drives. Shop online for your next used vehicle and enjoy the convenience of to-your-door delivery and the confidence of a 7-day love it or return it guarantee. Visit canadadrives.ca to learn more.
I really like the seating position in this EV. It feels a little bit higher, more like the Kia Seltos. You're sitting up and over the dash. The visibility is excellent. It just handles really well.
You know what? We have had a chance on this trip here to California to drive the hybrid, the plug-in, and now the EV. The EV really is the best one because it has the most power. It's got that snap that Andrea loves so much. But also because it's heavier, it's got, you know, the big battery, right? It just feels more substantial and
more grounded.
More grounded, more polished, more kind of upscale almost.
Yeah. Now this has 4 levels of regen braking. It has the paddle shifters behind the steering wheel that you use to control it. So you've got coasting, which is the first mode, and then you've got 3 others that control the regen from soft to heavier feeling. And then there's iPedal, where you just pull the paddle shifter forward for about 3 seconds and it goes into this mode, and boy, it is a strong regen mode. When you put it in that, the minute you take your foot off the accelerator, the vehicle begins to slow down immediately.
Yeah, that's your real one pedal driving mode. We're not big fans of that. It can be jerky for the passenger. Driver knows it's coming, passenger doesn't. It's like driving a manual. You're kind of, anyway, it's something we don't love, but have at it if you have a Niro. One thing we should say about this, because if you're tuning into this video, you're kind of thinking I maybe want an electric vehicle and you're considering this is just a front wheel drive only vehicle. There's no all wheel drive, even though it's got that crossover SUV vibe, really front wheel drive only.
And we've got that question actually as a hot topic, so we'll get into a discussion about front wheel drive and all wheel drive. New to Kia is digital key to touch, which allows the driver to both unlock and lock as well as start the vehicle. Kia tells us that you don't even need the key present, you just need your phone.
You know what that sounds like? Tesla. And you know what? They have innovated a lot in the EV space, so yeah, they deserve credit for that. It's kind of cool technology.
There's also some great driver assist technology in this, including forward collision warning, lane keep assist, lane follow assist, blind spot monitoring, and rear cross traffic alert.
So we were lucky enough to go to the design center here in California and meet the designer of this car. Nice young guy, talked to him, and I asked him, I said, the blade on the side of the car, that airfoil thing that looks like an Audi R8.
Yeah.
I said, why didn't you make it on every single version of the Niro? Because it's really only on the top trims of the plug-in, the hybrid, and this EV.
Yeah.
And he said, that's above my pay grade. So I think it's one of those things, if you want it, and I think people will want it, you got to get the top trim.
Well, the thing is, it's a really unique design element, and the fact that it's functional and improves airflow and aerodynamics is even better. You've got a really neat looking vehicle here.
Yeah, the one thing about having something that's advanced tech, like an electric vehicle, you don't want it to be too freaky looking.
No.
But you want to get some street cred for driving something different, and I think that this is a fun car. I think it would be cool if it was in a fun color too.
Yeah.
Like imagine if you had like a sunburst orange or a super bright blue or something.
Turquoise, yeah. So the headlamps are pretty cool because the daytime running lamps have the line of a heartbeat. And then when you go to the rear, you can see that there's some inspiration from the Kia Sportage.
Wait, Andrea, we're in the United States. That's a Kia Sportage.
Yep.
Oh, by the way, there was a Korean host there, and we were talking about this car, the Sportage. In Korea, it's called Sportage, I think is how he said it.
Yeah, that sounds pretty good too, doesn't it? So you've got those boomerang LED taillights back there, and that's another very unique design cue, and it's nice that they integrated that and took something from another newer vehicle that they've just come out with. This EV gets 5.9 inches of ground clearance, and it comes standard with projector beam halogen headlights, LED taillights, and 17-inch wheels along with a tire repair kit.
Did I just hear you say halogen headlamps, Andrea?
You did.
Available LEDs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of cheeky, don't you think?
Yeah, I think it should be standard LED headlights.
We think it should be standard
this
LED.
Halogen business doesn't cut it for us.
And also, we want the blade on the side, deviated color on all trims.
Throw it all in, Kia.
Bam! The inside of this thing certainly looks futuristic and modern, but also traditional at the same time. Yeah. We'll get into that in a second. The techie part are really the screens, right?
Yeah, I really like the modern and clean look in here, and it comes standard with a 10.25-inch touchscreen and a 10.25-inch driver display. So I think that gives it a real wow factor. The HVAC controls and the infotainment system share the same panel, and you can toggle back and forth to each. And it's actually a great concept. It keeps everything very clean in the interior, and it doesn't take up a lot of space.
So I complained in other vehicles like the Sportage, the Sportage, and the Sportage, I think is how I said it, is that you would take your eyes off the road to see whether you're in HVAC or you're in the radio. We found out a trick today. If you press and hold one of the buttons, you can preset your favorite. So you set it to entertainment. So when you're driving along and your favorite song comes on the radio, Andrea likes Take That.
Yeah. Oh gosh.
Remember that song? You turn up the radio or you turn the button and you know it's the volume, and you only occasionally change the heat. I think that's a great idea. We only found that out today.
Now these seats are really comfortable in here. I think that you would enjoy the Niro on a long drive.
Actually, we've done a lot of driving today and it's been great.
Yeah, like so comfortable. Now we've got the top trim of the EV. It's the limited model, and it comes with everything you could possibly want, including a leatherette interior. It also has the Harman Kardon Sound System, driver seat memory, a power passenger seat. It has ventilated front seats and heated rear seats, and the sunroof.
No pano roof though.
No pano roof. Now I highly recommend going up one from the base model. There's only 3 trims in Canada, but that's where you get the heat pump. That's a pretty important feature in Canada. You also get a heated steering wheel, a power driver seat, and the power tailgate.
So we should explain what that is. A lot of people ask, what the heck is a heat pump and why does it matter? So if you don't have a heat pump, you have what's called resistance heat. That's where you take electricity and you put it through an element to create heat, just like a baseboard heater. Well, you're using electricity, right? With a heat pump, you're using electricity, but you're using what you have in a house, a heat pump that takes the cold air and warms it and vice versa. It's a much more efficient way of heating or cooling a cabin. That's why you want it.
Now in the US, there's 2 trims, wind and wave is the top trim. And
are you more wind or wave, Andrea?
I'm more wave. So
Andrea can attest that I'm definitely more wind.
yes, most definitely, but we don't need to go there, right? Who needs to know this stuff?
Well, you know now.
I don't even want to know it. Okay, so what do you get in wind? Similar standard features to what we get in Canada. However, if you want the heat pump, heated rear seats, and a heated steering wheel, you can get that on the base model. You just have to add a package. And it's the same with Wave. Now, the heated steering wheel is a standard feature on the Wave model, but you have to add a package on that top trim to get the heat pump and heated rear seats. Can you believe that?
I can believe that.
Yeah.
Zach loves getting in the back seat and can stretch out. You've got quite good leg room, quite good headroom. The seats are a little bit firm, but definitely passable with the armrest. It's pretty comfy.
As we said, the Niro EV is a spacious vehicle. It has similar front legroom to other EVs like the Kia Soul, the Hyundai Kona, and the Mazda MX-30. The Chevrolet Bolt EUV offers the most space in the front row. Second row legroom is excellent at 36.7 inches, beating out most of the competition we mentioned, except again for the Bolt EUV at 39.2 inches.
Cargo area is very useful. You have a power-operated liftgate on this trim, and then you have a fairly low floor. However, what is not under the floor, Andrea?
Yeah, there is no spare tire.
I have it right here, but how does it stack up compared to the competition?
Excellent for overall cargo capacity and space behind the second row. All of the competition that we mentioned, this beats them all.
So that's the rear cargo area. Yes, the EV in the Niro range is the only one that gets a frunk. It's not that big. Maybe you could store some cables there, but it's nice to have. All right, you have some questions. We have coffee. Let's get at it.
Time now for questions, coffee, and cars.
Your questions from Instagram.
I've heard Kia and Hyundai battery degradation is nowhere near Tesla's. Are these the same batteries as previous generations? So we spoke with Kia Canada about this, and they said that these are vastly improved to the point that the system remains around 36 Celsius and that it doesn't get too cold or too hot. Of course, Kia recommends, as do all brands, don't use a DC fast charger all the time because the battery does get hot and it's just generally not good for the battery. This or the base model EV6. How does this compare price features wise to the Chevy Bolt EUV?
Well, we are actually recording this right here at Kia headquarters in California.
All we see is Kia.
Yeah, all we see at Kia is, and right in front of us is a Kia EV6. Now, the EV6 is a sporty looking vehicle. The thing is that it has a lower roof.
Yeah.
And it's a sportier looking vibe than this car. And you need to check out the headroom is sufficient for you. It's a more expensive product. It has all-wheel drive, of course, and this is just front-wheel drive. And then you get into the Bolt EUV. Is it really good direct competitor to this? And
really
we were
good.
on the phone on the way here. Oh, Andrea was driving. I was looking it up. And you know what? The top trim of the Bolt EUV, that's the more utility looking one.
Yeah.
With all of the features, their panel roof and so on, comes out right around $49,000 Canadian. And this one's how much, this top trim?
Just over 52.
So it is a little cheaper. And you did some comparisons when it came to actual space, right?
Well, before I get into space and that comparison, the base model price of the Bolt EUV is around $40,000. So this is quite a bit more for the base model. Plus the Bolt comes with a power driver seat, which this doesn't on the base trim. So there are a few extra features, but space-wise, front row legroom and second row legroom, the winner is the Bolt EUV, but this has more cargo capacity.
But both of them really are Korean. People don't understand that the Bolt's drive system is basically developed in Korea.
Yeah.
And the batteries too.
And both of these qualify for the federal EV rebate in Canada of $5,000 and also rebates in different provinces across Canada that are participating. We put out a lot of content each week on the Motormouth YouTube channel, and it's super easy to find.
All you do is go to the YouTube search bar and type in Motormouth, the name of the channel, then the brand you're looking for. In this case, it's Kia, and all our videos pop up. It's that easy.
Looking forward to the video review. Have they told you when they will arrive in Canada or the ordering process?
Well, they told us, but we can't tell you. No, we'll tell you.
They actually have started pre-orders. They sold out pretty fast in the pre-orders, but you can go to your dealership and pre-order now. And the plan is for them to arrive next year sometime, probably in the spring or maybe even earlier than that.
They said production of the Canadian models will start in the first quarter of 2023. So it's going to take some time for them to cross the Pacific Ocean and come to your dealer. But yeah, late winter, early spring. And now it's time for our hot topic. What's this one, Andrea?
I really like this car. It's too bad it doesn't come in all-wheel drive. Love the look.
Well, the whole all-wheel drive, front-wheel drive thing, this is a debate that never goes away.
Yeah.
You have to really remember, it wasn't that long ago where most vehicles were just front-wheel drive. It's really only been in the last 20 years where utilities have really made such big inroads. And everybody got around fine in the winter, especially when you have things like traction stability control as standard equipment and much better winter tires.
Yeah, I mean, if you put on a really good set of winter tires, you'll find that a front-wheel drive vehicle is quite good. I do understand that people who live in colder climates, who are dealing with deeper snow, that they just feel more comfortable with an all-wheel drive vehicle. I remember my first vehicle was front-wheel drive.
Oh, it was a beauty. It was the
a
Dodge
beauty.
Colt.
And you know what? I went up to Squamish. I lived there because I was in broadcasting at a radio station up there.
Let's just say Whistler, because most people know Whistler.
Up in Whistler. I drove that highway twice a week from Vancouver, and I was just fine, and we got quite a bit of snow up there. And I think that front-wheel drive vehicles, as you said, are much better today, providing extra features to help with that, like traction control.
So this is a full EV, front-wheel drive. Andrea says it is the subcompact class. So what other vehicles can you buy that are like this?
For your consideration, 4 vehicles for you to consider.
Up first is the Chevrolet Bolt EUV. It has 200 horsepower and up to 397 kilometers of range. It has a starting price of just over $40,500.
The Hyundai Kona EV has 201 horsepower, 415 kilometers of range, and a starting price of just over $47,000.
The Kia Soul EV has 201 horsepower with 248 kilometers of EV range and a starting price of just over $43,000.
Here's our used car alternative from CanadaDrives.ca. We chose a 2018 Kia Soul EV with just over 83,000 kilometers on the clock for $30,590. Click on the tab or the link in the description below to find more vehicles in this category from CanadaDrives.ca.
So there are 4 EVs for you to consider.
Everybody wants to know the charging times and more in our vital stats.
Let's start with pricing. In Canada, the base model starts at just under $45,000 and the top trim is just under $53,000 Canadian. In the US, the base trim starts at just under $39,500 and the top trim is just under $44,500 US. The Niro EV comes with an 11 kilowatt onboard charger. The Niro can go from 10 to 100% with a level 2 charger in just over 6 hours, and with a 350 kilowatt DC fast charger, 43 minutes. The top EV trim comes with an onboard power generator that can power or charge various items. In the US, this EV no longer qualifies for a tax credit. This EV is not recommended for towing, and Kia offers a warranty of 5 years or 100,000 kilometers, 60,000 miles.
Lightning round. Two things we like to see improved.
I like the range on this. Totally enough for what I would do daily.
I think it's funky looking.
What I'd love to see is a heat pump standard, at least in Canada, on this EV.
And that side blade that's a deviated color, all trims, Kia.
Kia is killing it with electrification, hybrids, plug-in hybrids, and now another EV.
It's good to have options.
This video is brought to you by Canada Drives. Shop online for your next used vehicle and enjoy the convenience of to-your-door delivery and the confidence of a 7-day love it or return it guarantee. Visit CanadaDrives.ca to learn more.